But speaking of marijuana and cannabis, Sasha Banks was also on the cover of Cannabis and Tech Today, and she was also talking about how essentially what we kind of previously discussed, right, with wrestlers putting their bodies under so much pressure. Um, and she was just talking about how she turned to CBD um, to kind of help her with her recovery and healing process. Now, for those of you who are unaware, there's two major chemicals in marijuana. There's THC and then there's CBD. THC is more of the chemical that you use when you want to get high, and CBD is more so for medicinal purposes. But she turned to CBD essentially to heal, to deal with depression and anxiety. She was talking about how she wasn't feeling like herself, and when she started taking CBD, all of that kind of went away. Um, wanted your impressions on that, and I wanted to ask you this: um, do you see CBD being uh, professionally incorporated into treatment programs that the WWE and other pro wrestling organizations have to offer?
Well, to answer, I guess your first question, in response to Sasha, promoting and having like her own CBD thing going on. I was reading about it, and she was mentioning how in like 2018 she was experiencing anxiety and depression, and CBD actually helped her stop drinking,
Yeah,
which I thought that was a big thing because there's a lot of people in America that suffer from alcoholism, especially because it's that one thing where people always say that alcohol is bad for you. However, they make it accessible in like pretty much every corner, especially if you're from New York or whatever.
yeah, that's a
So
fact.
I feel like yeah. So when I read that part, that's what really stuck out to me. Um, not just for athletes, but just in general, how it could be used again as a different vice rather than excessively drinking and throwing away your liver and your overall health and stuff like that. So good for her, by the way. Good for Miss Mercedes that she found something that was healthier. And your second question was,
Do you see like CBD and like CBD or CBD products being professionally kind of incorporated into like professional treatment programs that the WWE has to offer? Because they have their own like medical people and surgeons and but
oh yeah, yeah, because like people are already smoking in the back. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like we know, didn't we get confirmation that the reason why Randy stuck around Matt Riddle longer was because he has like
his
his
favorite
favorite strand
strand.
of weed? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, boom, confirmation. Like people are already smoking in the back. I was honestly surprised that when weed was legalized and stuff like that, that they hadn't already tried to get on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, there's no negative or any downsides to cannabis. Like there really isn't any downside. It's really how you use it. And if they're using it in a way that's going to heal people and get them back in action sooner, then why not? You know what I mean? Wouldn't you want a happy, healthy, less anxiety filled roster that's ready to work and able? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Absolutely.
that's just the way I thought about it. So I'm very much surprised that they hadn't gotten on it before, but who knows? I mean, again, anything could happen, especially with us having Triple H and more power than before. So maybe he might even encourage it. I don't know if Triple H smokes. I heard rumors back then that Vince used to smoke. Don't see why it was ever an issue.
I have a feeling
But
that
since
if
it's more accepted,
yeah,
hmm?
so I have a feeling that if Hunter was hanging around Sean and X Pac, he definitely took a blunt or two in his day. So
Right? That
yeah,
just makes sense.
absolutely. Um, I was gonna say, wait, you were trying to finish. I was gonna say finish what you were gonna say.
I'm done.
You're
Go
done.
on.
Cool, cool. He said,
Yep.
cool, cool. Nah, I think to kind of go off of that, I think that they should definitely integrate CBD products into rehab programs if they haven't done so already. I don't want to assume that like they haven't done it, but I think that they should incorporate it. It's 2022. It's time. We understand not only that recreational marijuana doesn't have any downsides to it, but we know that medicinal marijuana has a lot of upsides to it. And I feel like part of the issue surrounding weed is the stigma and the stereotypes attached to it by way of the criminalization of it over the past 50 years. And I feel like we've all kind of grown out of that. We know that people who, do weed come in all shapes, forms, and sizes, all different races. Um, and that it doesn't really have any downsides to it. You know what I mean? Rather do weed than coke. And I'm gonna keep it at that before I say anything about people that that we've mentioned in our group chat. But moving on, speaking of cocaine.